Some can increase a monthly benefit, some can lower a Medicare bill, one can reopen a Social Security decision, another can protect you from a permanent Medicare penalty, and most of them will never simply arrive in your mailbox with a note saying, "You should probably fill this out." That does not mean the government is hiding them. It means each form applies only to a particular situation. Social Security and Medicare can process the information they have, but they may not know that your spouse died, your income dropped, your employer coverage ended, or the amount in a decision letter is wrong unless you take the next step. Today, I am walking you through 10 forms worth knowing. You will not need all 10, you may need only one. But one correctly filed form can be the difference between paying a premium yourself and having a program pay it for you. It can be the difference between accepting a Social Security decision and asking the agency to review it. It can even determine whether you receive benefits on your own record or a larger amount connected to your spouse's record. Stay with me through number 10. The last form does not create a new benefit. It protects your right to challenge a decision before an important deadline passes. Let us begin with the form that matters after the death of a spouse. Form number 1, SSA 1O, Survivor Benefits. When a husband or wife dies, Social Security does not simply combine two checks. That is the first misunderstanding we need to clear up. A surviving spouse may qualify for a survivor benefit based on the deceased spouse's work record. Depending on the survivor's age and circumstances, that benefit can be as high as 100% of the deceased worker's benefit amount. But as high as matters. A survivor who claims before survivor full retirement age may receive a reduced amount. Disability, caring for a qualifying child, remarriage, and other circumstances can also affect the rules. The survivor does not normally receive both complete checks added together. Social Security generally pays the person's own benefit first and then determines whether a survivor benefit produces a higher total payment. The relevant form is SSA 1O, Application for Widows or Widowers Insurance Benefits. Survivor applications generally cannot be completed entirely online. You normally need to contact Social Security by telephone or through a local office. Here is a simple hypothetical example. Imagine that Helen receives $1,250 per month on her own record. Her late husband had been receiving $2,300. She should not assume she will automatically receive $2,300, but she also should not assume that her current $1,250 is the only amount available. Her claiming age and the rest of her circumstances must be reviewed. The correct question is not, "Can you send me my husband's check?" The better request is, "I am currently receiving benefits on my own record. My spouse has died, and I would like a comparison between my current payment and any survivor benefit available on my spouse's record. I also want to begin an application for widows or widowers benefits." Ask the representative to explain the gross benefit before Medicare deductions. Write down the date of the conversation, the representative's name if available, and what documents Social Security requests. Do not wait merely because you cannot find every document. Contact Social Security and establish what application should be filed. Application dates can affect when benefits begin. Form number 2, SSA 2BK, Spousal Benefits. Form number 2 applies while both spouses are alive. SSA 2BK is the application for wife's or husband's insurance benefits. At full retirement age, a spouse's benefit can be as much as 50% of the working spouse's primary insurance amount. That is the amount the worker is entitled to at full retirement age, not necessarily the amount currently landing in the worker's bank account. Here is the detail that creates enormous confusion. The spousal benefit is not normally a second complete check placed on top of your own retirement benefit. Social Security pays your own retirement benefit first. If the spousal calculation is higher, it may add enough from the spouse's record to bring your combined payment to the larger eligible amount. For example, imagine your own benefit is $800 and your full spousal amount is $1,300. The calculation may bring the total to $1,300. It does not usually mean $800 plus another complete $1,300. Filing early can reduce the spousal amount. The calculation also depends on whether the working spouse has filed and on other facts in the record. Divorced people should pay particular attention. If you were married for at least 10 years, are currently unmarried, and your former spouse had a stronger earnings record, you may be able to claim on that former spouse's record if the other conditions are met. Your former spouse does not lose part of their check because you apply, and your application generally does not reduce the benefit of a current spouse. Do not call your former spouse and begin a family argument before calling Social Security. That conversation is optional. The official calculation is the useful one. Ask Social Security. I want to compare my benefit on my own earnings record with any spouse or divorced spouse benefit available to me. Please tell me what information you need to complete that comparison. The phrase compare both records is important. You are not asking a representative to guess. You are asking the agency to calculate the possibilities using the records it maintains. Form number 3, your state's Medicare Savings Program application. This third form does not have one national form number because Medicare savings programs are administered by the states. But financially, this may be one of the most valuable applications in the entire video. The standard Medicare Part B premium in 2026 is $22.90 per month. That is $2,434.80 over 12 months. A Medicare savings program may pay that premium for you. Depending on the program, it may also cover other Medicare costs. The Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Program, usually called QMB, can help with Part A and Part B premiums and Medicare deductibles, coinsurance, and co-payments. Medicare providers are generally prohibited from billing a QMB enrollee for Medicare covered cost sharing, although a small Medicaid co-payment may sometimes apply. The federal baseline monthly income limits for QMB in 2026 are $1,350 for one person and $1,824 for a married couple. The general resource limits are $9,950 for one person and $14,910 for a couple. The SLMBB program can pay the Part B premium. Its federal baseline income limits are $1,616 for one person and $2,184 for a couple. The QI program can also pay the Part B premium. Its baseline limits are $1,816 for one person and $2,455 for a couple. QI requires a new application each year and is awarded on a first-come, first-served basis subject to available funding. Now, for the sentence that matters most, those are federal baselines, not necessarily the final rules in your state. Some states disregard certain income or resources. Some use more generous eligibility rules. Alaska and Hawaii have different income limits. Your home, one vehicle, and certain other property may not count in the way people expect. Do not reject yourself because your income appears to be slightly above a number you saw online. Contact your state Medicaid office and say, I have Medicare and want to apply for every Medicare savings program available to me, including QMB, SLMBB, and QI. Please send me the current application and explain which income and resource rules my state uses. If you receive QMB and a Medicare provider sends you a bill for Medicare covered cost sharing, do not automatically pay it. Show the provider proof of your QMBB status and ask the billing office to review the charge. Form number 4, SSA 8000BK. Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Retirement, and Supplemental Security Income are not the same program. Retirement benefits are based primarily on a person's covered work record. Supplemental Security Income, commonly called SSI, is a needs-based program for people who are aged, blind, or disabled, and who have limited income and resources. A person can sometimes receive a Social Security benefit and SSI. At the same time, the full SSI application is SSA 8000BK. In 2026, the maximum federal SSI payment is $994 per month for an eligible individual and $1,491 for an eligible individual with an eligible spouse. Those are maximum federal amounts, not guaranteed checks. Countable income, living arrangements, and other circumstances can reduce the actual payment. Some states add a supplemental payment. This is why a universal statement such as everyone below this income receives $994 would be wrong. But a person receiving a very small Social Security check should not assume that retirement benefits automatically disqualify them from SSI. Here is the practical question. I am 65 or older and have limited income and resources. I receive Social Security, but I would like to be screened for supplemental security income and begin an SSI application if appropriate. SSI generally does not work like a retirement benefit that can be claimed many months later with a broad retroactive payment. The application date matters. If the possibility is realistic, beginning the official screening promptly is more useful than spending 3 months trying to perform the entire calculation at the kitchen table. An SSI may open another door. People receiving SSI can automatically qualify for Medicare Extra Help if they have Medicare drug coverage. That brings us to Form number 5. Form number 5, SSA-1020, Extra Help with Prescription Costs. SSA 1020 is the application for help with Medicare prescription drug plan costs. The program is commonly called Extra Help. It reduces Medicare Part D premiums, deductibles, and prescription co-payments for people with limited income and resources. In 2026, the general Extra Help limits are $23,940 in annual income and $18,900 in resources for one person. For a married couple, they are $32,460 in income and $36,100 in resources. Rules concerning what counts can be more nuanced than simply looking at the balance in a checking account. A home, vehicles, personal possessions, burial arrangements, and other items may receive different treatment. Some people receive Extra Help automatically because they have full Medicaid, belong to a Medicare savings program, or receive SSI. Other people need to apply. For someone who qualifies in 2026, Extra Help can reduce the plan premium to zero and the deductible to zero. Covered prescriptions may cost no more than $510 for a generic drug and $12.65 for a brand name drug. After total covered drug costs reach $2,100, covered prescriptions can drop to zero for the remainder of the applicable period. Think about the person who skips one prescription every month because the pharmacy total is too high. This application is not merely administrative paperwork. It may affect whether the medication actually comes home from the pharmacy. Ask Social Security. I want to apply for Extra Help with Medicare prescription drug costs using SSA 1020. I would also like my information sent to my state for a Medicare Savings Program screening if that option is available. Applying for Extra Help can help start an MSP inquiry, but do not assume the two programs have become one application in every circumstance. Follow up with the state Medicaid office. Form number 6, SSA 44, lowering an IRMA search charge. Some people open a Medicare notice and discover that their Part B or Part D premium is much higher than expected. The reason may be IRMA A, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. Medicare generally determines IRAA using tax information from 2 years earlier. That can create a strange result. The person paying the premium today may be retired and earning far less while Medicare is looking at income from the final high-earning year of employment. SSA 44 allows someone who experienced a recognized life-changing event to ask Social Security to use more recent income information. The 8 recognized events listed on the form are marriage, divorce or annulment, death of a spouse, work stoppage, work reduction, loss of income, producing property, loss of pension income, and receipt of an employer settlement payment. Retirement often fits under work stoppage. Moving money between investment accounts does not automatically become a qualifying event just because it lowered your income. The event and the income reduction both matter. Suppose someone earned a high salary 2 years ago but retired this year. Medicare may initially calculate the search charge from that earlier tax return. SSA 44 gives that person a process for reporting the work stoppage and a lower current or expected modified adjusted gross income. The useful request is, I received an IRMAA notice, but my income dropped after a life-changing event. I want to request a new determination using Form SSA 44. What evidence should I provide for the event and my reduced income? Evidence might include documentation of the event and tax or income information. Do not simply write a lower number without support. SSA 44 does not promise that IRMAA will disappear. It asks Social Security to make a new determination based on the rules and evidence. But when the original search charge reflects income that no longer exists, this is the form that deserves attention. Form number 7, SSA 521, withdrawing a Social Security application. SSA 521 may provide a second chance after someone begins Social Security and quickly realizes the decision was made at the wrong time. It is called Request for Withdrawal of Application. A withdrawal is generally available within 12 months after approval of the original application. If Social Security approves the withdrawal, it treats the application as though it had not been filed. That sounds like a reset button. It is not a free reset button. The applicant generally must repay the benefits received. That may include payments made to family members on the same record and amounts withheld for Medicare premiums, taxes, or garnishments. Imagine someone files for retirement, then returns to well-paid employment 2 months later and decides that continuing the claim no longer fits the plan. SSA 521 may allow the claim to be withdrawn, so a later application can potentially produce a different benefit. But first, the repayment amount must be understood. Medicare consequences must be considered. Tax consequences may need professional review. A spouse or child who received benefits on the record may also be affected. Ask Social Security. My benefit application was approved within the last 12 months. I want to know whether withdrawal under SSA 521 is still available, the exact repayment amount, and how withdrawal would affect Medicare and anyone receiving benefits on my record. Do not send repayment money based on an estimate from a friend, a video, or a calculator. Obtain instructions and an official amount from Social Security. For some people, voluntarily suspending benefits after full retirement age may be another consideration, but suspension and withdrawal are different. Ask for both options to be explained before deciding. Forms number 8 and 9, CMS 4B and CMSL 564. These two forms often work together. CMS 4B is the application for enrollment in Medicare Part B. It is generally used by someone who already has Medicare Part A and now wants Part B. CMS-L 564 is the request for employment information. It helps document employer coverage when someone seeks a special enrollment period based on current employment. Why does this matter? Because missing Medicare Part B enrollment can produce gaps in coverage and a late enrollment penalty that may continue for as long as the person has Part B. But not everyone who delayed Part B should pay a penalty. A person covered by a group health plan based on their own current employment or a spouse's current employment may qualify for a special enrollment period. The standard working special enrollment period can remain available while that employment-based coverage continues, and for 8 months after the employment or coverage ends, whichever comes first. CMS 4B asks to enroll the person in Part B. CMS-L 564 helps establish the employment and group health plan history supporting the special enrollment period. Here is the trap. COBRA and retiree coverage are not treated the same way as group coverage based on current employment. A person may begin COBRA and think, I still have employer insurance, so my Medicare clock has stopped. That assumption can be expensive. The same caution applies to retiree health coverage. Before delaying Part B, ask the Employer Benefits Office and Social Security, not only the insurance company, how the coverage interacts with Medicare. If employment-based coverage already ended, say I have Medicare Part A but not Part B. My coverage was connected to current employment and I want to determine whether I qualify for a special enrollment period. Do I need CMS 4B and CMS-L 564? And what is my filing deadline? The employer usually completes the employment verification portion. If the employer closed or refuses to complete it, do not give up. Contact Social Security and ask which alternative evidence may be accepted. Pay stubs showing health deductions, tax documents, insurance records, and other evidence may become relevant. But let Social Security tell you what it requires for your situation. These forms do not erase every Medicare penalty. They document a particular path into Part B for people whose delay may be protected by employment-based coverage. Form number 10, SSA 561U2, Request for Reconsideration. The 10th form does not apply because your spouse died, your income fell, or you retired. It applies when Social Security makes a decision and you believe that decision is wrong. SSA 561U2 is the request for reconsideration. It can be used for many non-medical Social Security decisions, including disputes involving retirement, SSI, Medicare-related determinations, benefit amounts, and overpayments. Different appeal forms may apply to certain disability decisions, so read the notice carefully. The general deadline for reconsideration is 60 days after receiving the decision. Do not confuse a telephone call with a completed appeal. Calling Social Security may help you understand the notice, but if the deadline is approaching, ask exactly what must be submitted to preserve the appeal. The form asks what issue you are appealing and why you disagree. A useful explanation is specific. The decision used monthly income of this amount, but the enclosed document shows a different amount for the same period. That is stronger than "this is unfair. Please fix it." Attach the documents that support the disagreement. Keep a complete copy and retain evidence showing when the appeal was submitted. SSA 561 does not guarantee a different decision. It protects the opportunity for another review. If the deadline has already passed, do not automatically assume nothing can be done. Ask whether good cause for a late appeal may apply and what explanation or evidence is required. Social Security decides whether good cause exists. Bonus check: the Social Security Fairness Act. This is not an 11th form. The Social Security Fairness Act ended the windfall elimination provision and government pension offset for benefits payable from January 2024 forward. By July 7, 2025, Social Security reported completing more than 3.1 million adjustments totaling $17 billion. That means most people who are already receiving an affected benefit should not be sitting indefinitely waiting for the agency to begin the general recalculation. But there is still an important group to check. People who never applied because the old WEP or GO rules made an application appear worthless. A retired teacher, firefighter, police officer, or government employee may have decided years ago that a spouse, survivor, or retirement claim would produce little or nothing. Repeal of WE and GO does not create an application for someone who never filed. Ask, I previously worked in employment not covered by Social Security. I want to confirm whether I ever filed for retirement, spouse, or survivor benefits, and whether I should submit an application after the repeal of WEP or GO. The date of an application can affect when benefits begin. This is why checking matters even though the large automatic adjustment project has already been completed. Your 10-form checklist. Here is the complete list. 1. SSA 10 for widows or widowers benefits. 2. SSA 2BK for spouse or qualifying divorced spouse benefits. 3. Your state's Medicare Savings Program application for QMB, SLMBB, QI, and any other available category. 4. SSA 8000BK for supplemental security income. 5. SSA 1020 for Medicare, extra help with prescription costs. 6. SSA 44 to request a new IRMA determination after a recognized life-changing event. 7. SSA 521 to request withdrawal of a recently approved Social Security application. 8. CMS 4 to enroll in Medicare Part B. 9. CMS-L 564 to document employment-based coverage when requesting the applicable special enrollment period. 10 SSA-561-U2 to request reconsideration of a Social Security decision. Do not download all 10 forms and create a small paper mountain on your kitchen table. Start with the one that matches a real event in your life. A spouse died, a marriage ended, your income fell, your Medicare premium increased, you are struggling with prescription costs, employer coverage ended, you received a decision that appears wrong. That event points you toward the correct form. When you call, ask for a written calculation or written decision whenever possible. Record the date, keep copies, ask what deadline applies, and never send original documents unless the agency specifically instructs you to do so. One form may not change anything. Another may change the amount entering your bank account every month or prevent an avoidable Medicare expense for years. The difference begins with asking the correct question. This video is for educational purposes only and does not provide legal, tax, financial, or medical advice. Program rules depend on individual circumstances and can change. Social Security, Medicare, your state Medicaid agency, or another responsible government office must make the official eligibility and benefit determination.